Hello and welcome to my first physical magazine issue episode. I'm your host, Retroman Dan, and as you can see, this is Sega Visions issue number 2. Look at this cover here featuring Strider on it. Look at this artwork, it just kind of pops. And look at this, this is the main bad guy from the game. Let's zoom in on his face. It's just evil looking. But yeah. Truly awesome game, and let's dive right in here. Clacks, look at this. This game layout here just screams 90s. Again, it's a puzzle game, so I'm really not into that, but zoom in on the screenshot because it looks like it had pretty cool graphics for the time. Kind of looks like your hand holding this little game player thing. Again, never really got into Clacks at all, so we got table of contents here. I'll just do a quick scroll through and zoom in so see what kind of's coming up. And let's go on to the next page. Alright, let's see, we got a letter from the publisher. What do you say, Mini-Bit? Should we read this?
Yes!
Alright, there you have it. Let's dive right in here. Hello Sega gamers, welcome to the second fantastic issue of Sega Visions, your exclusive hands-on guide to the latest in Sega excitement. Visions has game reviews, previews, the latest video news, and much more. Judging from our readers' enthusiastic response, the premiere issue was a smashing success. We're delighted with your compliments, critiques, creative ideas, and even your criticisms. We need your feedback to continue to offer the best video games and video game magazines all around. So keep those cards and letters coming in. We love them all. Sega gamers are the best. You didn't follow the pack when you chose your Sega system. You intelligently evaluated the field and discovered the Sega advantage. Your letters prove Sega is the leader in depth of play and quality of graphics, and you told us to let the world know. And we are! Keep your eyes peeled this fall for our national advertising blitz. Genesis does what Nintendo shows the exclusive hot new games the Sega offers, and Nintendo don't. Games like Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, Joe Montana's Football, Pat Riley Basketball, Super Monaco GP, E-SWAT, James Buster Douglas Knockout Boxing, Dynamite Duke, Sword of Vermilion, Columns, the list goes on and on. Plus, we've signed on 17 software development companies and plan to almost double that number by January 1991. Tengen, Razorsoft, Seismic, and Electronic Arts are just a few that have joined the Sega team as third-party licenses. And when you're buying their games, look for the Genesis seal of quality. This seal is your guarantee that the games that display it are Genesis compatible and meet our high standards of action, graphics, and gameplay. Find out the latest news on these great new games in every issue of Visions in our new section, Party Line, beginning on page 22. We maintain our quality and excellence for one reason: you, the best and brightest video gamers. Together, you and Sega make an unbeatable team. Nintendo beware, the Sega generation is here. Well, that was a little cheesy. And maybe a little fanning the flames of the console war a little bit. But yeah, it is what it is. Moving on. Here we got Whip Rush. Felt this was kind of, it was a solid shooter. It definitely had an R-type feel to it. It was by Renovation, so I mean, you know it's going to be good. I remember, I think we rented that in a weekend type rental. Eventually I did buy it. Now Final Zone, this was also in a weekend rental, but I think it was, when I got a batch of games, so I didn't play it much. It looks like a really cool game. I mean, it's kind of a top-down mech shooter. Zoom in here a little bit. It's definitely one I want to get back into, though. So someday I'll play it again. Alright. We got the high scores. Oh, look at this one here. Zoom in here. Target Earth. Look at that score, 4 million plus. Yeah, the only way you're getting that kind of score is if you're using the invincibility cheat. So, yeah, that's kind of funny. And that was the only way I could ever play that game too, so. And you got the little promo here to keep your subscription going, which is funny because, you know, I sent this out. I got 2 issues and then I got a thing that says, oh, you got to renew for such and such a month. After 2 issues, even though I said I was going to get 6 for free or whatever it was per year. Anyway, moving on. Shadow Blasters here. A game I never played back in the day. I've only recently played it. Generally, I played like the first level or 2. I mean, maybe if I got into it more, I'd probably do better, but it seemed a little difficult. So I'll try getting back into that one again. Sector X, I absolutely love the look of this game. Fighting giant bugs. I never played it back in the day because, I mean, the only time I could try to rent it, it was never in. And yeah, eventually I ended up buying it in the early 2000s when I was going on my little gaming buying binge for old school games. I recently did play it on emulation, and thank God I had a rewind button because that game is definitely difficult. I don't think I would have finished the game normally. It was a lot of cheap hits, but it was still a fun game. I just, you know, I like the graphics, and giant bugs, and all that. We'll continue on here. All right, Thunder Force 3. Look at that layout. I'll get to that in a second. We got the mailbox here. What do you say, Mini Bit? Should we read a question out of here? Alright, there you have it. But I guess we'll zoom in here so you can have a go at it if you want. Alright, Thunder Force 3. This layout is really nice. I felt like Thunder Force 3 was an absolutely perfect game myself. Never played the second one. But this one, I mean, difficulty was just right, and the music, graphics, gameplay was all just fantastic. Like, just looking at these screenshots here, I can hear the music for each of these. I mean, just a fun game. One of the few shooter games that I actually finished. No cheats or anything. But, yeah, highly recommend that one if you can track it down and get a physical copy, or, you know, just play it on emulation. Alright. 17 companies are in the right to display this seal. Let's have a look at the games over here. Atomic Robo Kid, weekend rental, love that game. I did end up buying it. Really fun game. Never played the arcade. Seeing comparison shot, that's pretty close to the arcade. m.a.me Run, nice co-op game. You know, it was fun. You know, one person drove the boat, the other person was shooting the helicopters and everything. You know, Whip Rush, Crossfire, never played. I mean, it's I think that's what the helicopter kind of top-down shooter. Curse, never heard of that game. DJ Boy was a fun game. I like that. That was a weekend rental. I did end up buying it. You know, beat 'em up on skates. It was a really difficult game, I remember, but eventually I did finish it. Hellfire, I felt like Hellfire and Whip Rush were kind of similar, but Hellfire seemed a little more chunky in the graphics department. You know, still a solid shooter nonetheless, but, you know, my experience with it was very limited. And it goes in Sector X, that tail end of that giant slug. Clax again. Mandu's Fight Palace. Rated as probably one of the worst fighting games on the Genesis. Philios. Played a little bit of that. Recently played the arcade version, so I mean, it's a pretty solid port. Very close. I mean, I like the Greek mythology aspects to it. Populous. Rented that one time, but they didn't come with instruction booklets, so I had no idea what it was doing. So played it for like maybe 5-10 minutes and gave up. Never touched it again. Yep, Super Volleyball. Of course, there's Target Earth. Technocop, that was a fun game back in the day. I only got as far as maybe the third or fourth driving section because I would always run out of gas. But the side-scrolling parts were pretty cool. You know, having that exploding pistol when the guy just gets eviscerated. It was pretty shocking back then, but nowadays it's kind of like, who cares? Of course, there's Thunder Force 3 again. Then we got Junction, puzzle game, never played it. So let's continue on. There we go with Strider. Love this game, fantastic game. Arcade perfect port, I thought. I mean, seeing comparison shots, I mean, it looks spot on. I mean, a little bit of flicker in the Genesis version, of course, but very solid action game. I actually liked it so much that this mechanical ape down here, which you can only see just his head and arm, but I actually did a pencil drawing of it. It turned out pretty solid, pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I love this game. This one, after I finished it, I just turned right around and jumped back in and keep going. Alright, here we go. Game Doctor. Well, what do you say, Minibit?
Yes!
Alright, let's dive in. We'll just go with the first one here. I recently purchased the power base converter for my Sega Genesis system. In the premiere issue of Sega Visions 1, I read that there would be a Master System 2. I was wondering if Master System 2 games would be compatible with the power base converter. Not to worry, with the exception of 3D games and Fighting Falcon, all games for the Sega Master System 2 are compatible with the original Sega Master System and Genesis power base converter. You know, I never had the power base converter back in the day, because I mean, my Master System worked fine, so I never really felt the need to get it. I did buy it in the early 2000s again when I was on my gaming buying binge. Alright, Genesis does. Nintendo. Sword of Vermilion. Fantastic game. I mean, I rank this right under Phantasy Star 2. I mean, it was a little different for an RPG. I mean, I liked the action segments. This particular sequence here where you're fighting the bosses was really cool. A little clunky on the controls, but it was still very cool. I mean, the graphics looked awesome back then. Got some more screenshots over here. I really did like the villages and towns in this game. I mean, just look at this church here. To me, like, having a cool looking village and town in this kind of isometric view kind of really draws you in, I guess. I mean, like this and like the Lunar series always had just fantastic looking little towns you get to visit. I don't know, that was just one little thing that always drew me in, I guess. Yeah, thank God this game had that hint book that came with it, because it was a real long game. And having that first person view, if you don't have a little, as you can see in this screenshot, you got the little overhead map. But if you don't find that in game, you're only seeing one square ahead of you. I don't even think that, it's just your immediate surroundings is all you see on the little overhead map. Of course, you know, you got your first person view, but still, if you're walking and you don't see these little side paths off to the side in first person view unless you have a map. Overall, it was a good game. Really great game, I thought. I mean, the music was solid. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, definitely one to go look for if you can never find it. There we go. Afterward 2 was a review, and then we got Genesis Does It All. Here, let's kind of zoom in here. Just kind of scroll through real quick. See all these awesome games. Alright, no, Afterburner 2. Yep, I bought this right off the bat. I mean, I love the arcade original, and this was actually really close to the arcade, I felt. Of course, you got to do the 100 missile cheat, just so you know, it keeps it fun, because it's a pretty lengthy game, if I remember. It was like 20 some odd levels. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Oh, you can see even the age of this magazine, it's kind of come off the staples a little bit for a couple pages here. Alright, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker. Again, this was kind of a weekend rental thing. I mean, it was fun, you know, for a side-scroller action type game. But, I mean, it had great graphics and everything. Never played the arcade version, so I couldn't really compare. But, it was fun for a weekend, and then after that, I was like, yeah, okay, I'm over it. I got Pet Rally Basketball, one of the few basketball games I played, you know, and actually had fun with it. I like this, you know, when it zooms in for a dunk. I thought that was a really cool little effect, mini game type thing. Oh, now we got Ghostbusters. Again, I love this game just because you can actually tell which character is which. Look at that Egon. I mean, the ghost. I mean, look at that ghost. His freaking big gaping mouth with drool, or what was that, teeth or drool? I don't know. But, it was a really fun game. One of the better Ghostbuster games out there. We got strategy for Herzog Zwei. Never played it. I have no comment on this game whatsoever, so I guess it's just one of those few I never touched. Alright, here's that party line segment they were talking about. You got Whip Brush, and there's Insector X. Again, look at that giant moth boss. And back then that was really awesome. Flags, Populous again. Genesis gets an A+. And all this reading type stuff, I never even paid attention to. I was just more like, get me to the games. Technocop. This ad layout actually, I think, is what made me want to try this game. Just because, I mean, you see the guy that's gonna explode here, but looking at this one, the screenshot here, you see the guy jumping off the truck to land on your car? I mean, that was awesome. And you see like the little, I don't know what you call those little tire shredder things that pop out. I mean, it just looked really cool. Of course, the end game, not so much. I mean, it was just an average game, I guess. Niles Nemo, well, I'll zoom in a little bit here if you want to read this, but just not for me. Page. Master System reviews. Area Assault, never played it. I mean, for a Master System game, it looks pretty cool. I mean, if it would have got this before I'd gotten Genesis, I probably would have been impressed. Columns over here. I mean, this is basically a clone of the Game Gear version, which I have, so I mean, it is what it is. I had the Genesis version as well, which was always, you know, the better one. So I play this on the Game Gear anyway, on occasion, but it wasn't my go-to game. E-SWAT, again, one of these ones were on the Genesis, so I was like, I don't need to buy this for the Master System because it's on the Genesis, but so I never had much experience with it. Alex Kidd and Shinobi World, another Alex Kidd game, never got into it. I mean, it was probably a fun game. I mean, I think I heard good things about this one, so maybe I'll put it on the list and jump into it one of these days. There you go, hot new Master System games. The only game out of here would be this game that we have, Psycho Fox, which, as I said before, was kind of a Mario knockoff with a twist. But other than that, never played any of these. The Genesis version of that, and of course the arcade version, but of course your old school Genesis. Yes, Fantasy Star, Perfection, Double Dragon, great game, Choplifter. Those are all some of my first Master System games. Let's go on to the next page. Well, here we go. Are you gonna go? Game Wizards. Again, if anybody's ever called these type of, gaming hotlines, I'd be curious to hear about it in the comments. Your experience with it. I got Junction over here. Again, puzzle game. Never cared for it. Lakers versus Celtics. This is another basketball game I remember playing. A weekend rental type thing. It was really fun, I thought. I mean, it was really cool. Just look at this. You can see the likenesses. Jordan and Larry Bird here. And, I mean, that was great. I think this is what led to the basketball game Larry versus Bird. It came out a few years. Maybe a couple next year or the year after. Next page. Coming attractions we got. Sort of Vermilion. Paperboy. Again, we played the Genesis version in the arcade. I mean, the arcade was great, having the handlebar controller. Difficult, but it was fun. I remember playing it in Showbiz Pizza all the time. James Buster Douglas Knockout Boxing. That was another weekend rental. It was, it was an okay boxing game. I mean, I wasn't huge into boxing, but it was fun. And we got Fire Shark here. I don't think I ever played that one. Maybe I have. I can't remember. It might have been in kind of a weekend rental batch type thing. Of course, we got Target Earth again. And that's it. Let's see. Maybe somehow figure out how to get that restapled in or something. I don't know. So I guess that's that. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And this is Retro Man Dan, and I will catch you later.